Okay, so number one, I hope you guys can hear me properly on Instagram. I hope you guys can hear me properly on Instagram. Like I said, hold on one second. We're gonna start this thing all the way back where it's supposed to start, homie. And now we're gonna record. All right. Hey guys, thank y'all for joining. I hope you guys can hear me properly on Instagram. If you can hear me clearly without the wind, if you wouldn't mind, just let me know in the comment section that you can hear me, no interruption. That'd be great. Gabe, what's up, my man? Good to see you here. We're gonna jump right in because you know what? I really want to do more with YouTube. Go ahead and follow Darby's Room on YouTube. I'm recording this right now in case I do something in the future for like a podcast or something like that. But right now we just working with Instagram live and just recording it. Okay, so you can hear me clear? A thumbs up if you can hear me clear. No interruptions, and then we're gonna hop right into this. All right, so I really wanted to just focus on media, but you cannot focus on media without focusing on the words that are being spoken in the media industry. It's very powerful, and it's working on your soul. And if you're not careful, then you're bringing it on quicker. And I gotta say myself, I'm guilty of that. And I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. But you know how the comment section be working when you with your friends and stuff like that, right? And you just talking about different topics. And we were talking about, well, a conversation was had about saying you can't breathe. And I'm like, yo, stop saying you can't breathe. Do you understand how esoteric that is just by you saying you can't breathe? And I really didn't have like the evidence to support the conversation, but I just felt it because when we were out there protesting, the chant went from say their name to I can't breathe. And when everybody just starts saying I can't breathe, the hair on my arm just started rising, right? So I wanted to talk about something. You know, we really need to talk about this. Yeah, we're living in crazy times, but we got to be mindful on what we're speaking, because what we're speaking brings life and creation into the cosmos. And my fear, more than anything going on, and I got a lot of fears. I'm not little boy enough to say I don't, right? But my fear is an activated person. It's an activated soul of anybody of my community. One, it just angers me. And then two, it makes my hair stand up, because we are beautiful and a powerful people. And if we continue to allow ourselves to let these evil doers and these satanic devil worshipers, if we allow them to lead us into the fire, then that's where we're gonna go. All right? So because every time we do the hand of the deep state, every time, and I'll teach you guys what that is if you don't know, but every time we work the hand of our oppressors, after they done with us, they classify us, they stereotype us, they throw us in mass incarceration, and that's some things that I don't want to see my people continue to go through, all right? So what we want to jump into is the fact that words are powerful, right? Let me take a sip of water. I feel like I got caught enough. All right. What we want to jump into the fact is that words are powerful, and the ability to speak is number one. It's a gift from the Creator, but it's something that you have to have deep responsibility with when you're forming sentences, and I'm about to show you why. Word is defined by a sound or a combination of sounds, or its representation in writing or in print, right? And it symbolizes, and it means and communicates something else. So if you look at it from this perspective, right? And I'm gonna put my glasses on, right? All right. If you look at it from the perspective of John, what does John say? John says, in the beginning it was the Word, and the Word was with God, and God was the Word, right? So the Word was a beginning because the Word was a spiritual seed. You got to understand that the words we speak are spiritual, vibrational seeds that we put out into the cosmos and the universe. That's if you believe that you created in God's image, in my opinion, right? So the Bible says that God says, let there be light. But the only way that light came into existence is that God spoke the word first, right? God spoke the word first. And that's in Genesis 1:3 if you want to look along. But the point I'm trying to make is, what does the letter G in the periodic table, since we're talking about the first letter of the word God, what does the letter G in the periodic table have in common? What does the letter G have in common with the periodic table for photon, right? The symbol of photon is Y, and that's for gamma, right? And the letter G is the first letter in God's word. So you got gamma and you got photon, and they're very closely related right off the bat. But the Greek alphabet uses the word G kind of in the same symbol as the word Y, which we see in the periodic table. And I kind of lost my train of thought, but I'm gonna get right back onto it. But if we're working with the periodic table and we look at photon, and photon is light, light is gamma. So if God is referenced by many religions as light, and light is gamma, then think about a gamma ray. What is a gamma ray doing? A gamma ray is penetrating an electromagnetic spectrum of radiation, right? So our words are very penetrating. Our words, just like God, he used numbers and letters. God has the power to create words, codes, formulas that can be used to express law of nature, right? So these divine laws give us order into the universe, right? Making it possible for life to exist. So if God uses words and symbols to make life possible to exist, then what are we bringing on ourselves, and what are we bringing into our lives by what we listen to, what we speak into existence? What I'm trying to get at is that words have the power to manifest, right? Words are seeds because they are planted in the mind. And when a word is planted in the mind, it can grow. And with nourishment, or even if it's not the right nourishment that you need, with cultivation and programming, ideas manifest into reality. And depending on what the idea is based on, it can heal or it can harm the body. Again, depending on what your ideas are based on, it can heal or harm the body, right? And then you also have to remember that words are codes, which is why we can't understand all languages, right? And if you look at, like we were talking about with gamma, if you look at the Greek reference of gamma, it has a strong correlation to the English reference of grammar, which is also Latin in origin. But the French text of grammar, which is the English version, the French text of grammar is grammaire, which has a strong correlation again to the English, the Old English text of grimoire, which is the manual of magic. Grimoire, which is the manual of magic. So again, grammar and grimoire, they're very close in correlation. So if grimoire is the manual of magic, and grammar is what we use to formulate sentences, then you got to be careful what you're saying. You got to be careful what you're speaking into existence, right? So excuse me, I got my notes. I had the technical difficulty. I was going to read over all of this. But again, for those who are just joining, again, you got to be careful what you're speaking into existence. And to make it hit home, I'll say this one more time. Words are codes, which is why we cannot understand all languages, right? Because words are so powerful, they have the ability to program, which is why corporations, which is why religious systems, legal systems, music industry, etc., this is why they use words to make sure that they can have the ability to carry out their agenda. And finally, the last thing I'll say about words, you take the word words, right? And you take the S off of the back of words, and you put the S on the front of words. If you put the S off of the back of words and you put it on the front of words, it turns into sword. All right? You take the S off of the back of the word and you put it on the front. I don't know where a lap is. You take the S off of the back of a word and you put it on the front of words, it turns into sword. So we got to be careful what we speak into existence. So what I'm trying to get at, one more thing. Certain monks, certain tribes, they don't even speak. They might tick, they might grunt, but we might not take it that far. But the fact that we're learning all these new things, the fact that these things weren't taught to us, and the fact that certain teachings don't even speak, that should again hit home. And our divine creator used words to bring our life into existence. That should really hit home that you can breathe, is what I'm getting at. You can breathe. Don't be out there chanting you can't breathe. Say something else. And I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't be out there chanting you can't breathe. COVID was here before they told us COVID was here. The virus was here. I really don't want to say that word, so I'm going to just say the virus, right? So I don't want to get my channel flagged or anything. But the virus was here and you was breathing fine. I understand that has nothing to do with the I can't breathe statement. But if we are chanting certain things and they work like spells, what will happen when we really can't breathe? What we need to be saying is, no one will stop us from breathing in our community. And all of that stopping our people from breathing will stop. And we will be the ones to bring on that change. Instead of chanting certain things, what we need to be doing is taking our same divine word, and bringing new laws into action. And I know that's what we're working on, but we need to only solely work on that harder instead of chanting on our own demise. Because on our next point that I'm going to make, which is why I grouped these two for everybody in their feelings for what I just said, which is why I grouped these two, the media has us feeling this way. And it's pushing their agenda on on what we can do. COVID is a real thing, and it's taking the breath out of our people. It's certain things we should not say right now. We should not be activated to speak into existence right now. And if our words are powerful enough to create, I don't want us to create a bad fate for ourselves. That's all I'm saying. They are not in control of our souls is another thing I'm saying. All right? So in 2019, that literally marked 400 years of slavery. So if we're talking about words, think about this. My last point on words. When we use grammar, what are we doing? We're spelling, right? We're spelling, right? So grimoire and grammar, we talked about the correlation, and we're spelling to form sentences. I don't want us to put the wrong spells on ourselves. What's up, Vanessa? I don't want us to put the wrong spells on ourselves, is what I'm saying. So again, 2019 marked 400 years since slavery and since that spell started on our people. They wrote it, they spoke it, and they made sure it affected our community. So now we need to make sure it does not happen to our people again. So now we need to pay attention to the new forms of slavery and our new masters and what they are doing to us and how they are running the trick bag over our eyes. And the reason why I started on controlling your mind is to make this make sense and my future topics make sense. So let's just hop right into the topic of media, right? So when you think about media, what do you think about? When you think about media? Well, media, the term media, right? It speaks to the drama and the mystery of the most unexpected found in the human experience. I'll say that again. Media speaks to the drama, the mystery, and the most unexpected found in the human experience. So now we need to speak about the origin of media. And I hate to break it to you, but they were worshiping media or Medea, which is who you'll learn next. They were worshiping these entities since before Jesus walked the earth. So we have to be careful what we worship, right? We have to be careful what we worship. So again, before I get into this point, I want you to think about the events associated with the word media. What do you think of? I want to say this. If Hermes is the god of communication, let's speak about Medea. If Hermes is the god of communication, let's speak about Medea, right? So Medea was a divine descent. I don't know why I can't say divine today, because all of us in this live is divine, right? We all divine. I'm trying not to curse, but we all divine AF. Okay, so let's keep going. Medea was a divine descendant, sorceress who used magic, conspiracy, murder, and child sacrifice to push her agenda. Medea was a sorceress who used magic, conspiracy, murder, and child sacrifice to push her agenda. And now I'm about to tell you why. Alright? So in Greek mythology, Medea, again, she was a divine sorceress descendant who helped Jason, the leader of the Argonauts, obtain a golden fleece from her father. Right? She used magic to advise these heroes and aided in murder and conspiracy by sacrificing her brother. So Medea sacrificed her brother to obtain morals and riches, to obtain objects. She sacrificed her brother, her little brother. And then guess what? Guess why she did that? To throw off an illusion. So you think about media and how we're distracted and how we constantly face all of these different things going on, right? Are we not hearing stories, and I'm saying metaphorically speaking, of distractions? You took the golden fleece, but now you give me a story of somebody thrown in the water. We don't know if she actually did it, but that's what history told about her, right? So again, illusions. She's the goddess of illusion, all right? So that's her early phases in life. Now her late phases in life, Medea, in the play by Euripides, it takes place on the in the stages later in life for Medea, right? So after Jason and Medea have fled together with the golden fleece that she used magic and sorcery to obtain, right? So Jason does something that's really crazy when you're dealing with a super witch, right? He left her for the princess of Corinthian. And because she was so mad and vengeful of Jason leaving her for another woman, what she did was she killed her children with Jason, and she killed his new wife, the princess, to show that her revenge and to seek her revenge. So she killed her own children after killing her brother and the princess to get revenge on her former lover. So this ain't a woman to really play with. So just to tie it all up in a bow, and then we're going to talk about her superpowers, what Greek mythology says her superpowers are. We'll talk about a reflection of how long we've quoted media to the destruction of our society, right? So this is a quote from Euripides' play. It says, "Many-fold are thy shaping's providence, many a hopeless matter God's array. What we expected never came to pass, what we did not expect the gods brought to bear. So have things gone this whole experience through." Wow, right? You can look this whole play up, but does that not sound like a news article, a headline with CNN or Fox? Does that not sound like a report of terrorism? And we'll talk about that later. So I'm gonna keep it pushing. So again, what is media pushing today, right? But we'll take a little step back and we're gonna talk about the powers of Medea, and we'll talk about the link and the correlation between Medea and the powers of the media in the industry, right? So her powers were to manipulate mystic energy through spells. We just talked about spells. The media continuously uses different avenues to feed us a spell. I'm gonna keep going because if you don't understand what I'm saying, I'm not for you. You gotta go, right? Also, mind control. Would you not say that certain things that we're experiencing in today's time is a psychological experiment, right? She had the ability to summon and control hellfire. So she had a connection with the devil. She had the ability to animate the dead, right? Which she was later worshipped through medicine, Medea medicine. So they started worshiping her through medicine. But she had the ability to reanimate the dead, maybe that's why, through medicine. She had the ability to control the stars in the solar system and the sun. Does that not sound like the weather system, the weather industry? She had the ability to cast illusions, remove spirits from the living, turn men into animals, and create bolts of lightning and force of energy. So she was also known for divine condone in ancient culture. So she was known for being divinely condoned, which means She was known for people condoning her actions, no matter how evil they were, no matter how demonic they were. So again, what does Euripides' play tell us in correlation to media, right? So we're going to get over to the next slide and we're going to keep pushing. We only got 12 slides and we're on slide 7. Thank y'all for sticking with me. Do me a favor and just share this slide to somebody that you know. It'd be greatly beneficial for them. I'm pretty sure you would agree it's beneficial for yourself. Oh, somebody came from behind me. And then we'll keep it pushing. So you got 3 main forms of media, right? Main form 1 is print and internet media. You use paper, magazine, Apple News, articles like that, right? Main form 2 is you got broadcast media. That's television and radio. And main form 3, which is the one that's really taking an effect on more people than you can actually realize, is social media. That consists of 7 functions to identify. That's identity, conversations, sharing, presence, relationships, reputation, and groups. Relationships, reputation, and groups. So I guarantee you we are categorized by the groups that we like, by the things that we share, by the things that we comment on. You categorize just for fooling with me in this video. These are things that we definitely have to consider. So now we're about to talk about the effects of media and then and its influence in the industry. These lights right here are about to go out. It's getting dark. The kids are coming to the pool, so we're gonna keep it pushing, right? But before I say that though, if you can pull up Google, look up the media of Japan and how Japan viewed America. I know we cool with Japan, but look at how they viewed America. Even by the bombings of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. You have to look these things up, and I hope the first name is right, but I know Hiroshima is but I hope I'm not disrespecting anybody. And then you think about broadcast media. What do you see in the media today? That's a question we just had to ask ourselves. And then social media, again, like I said, is the best way to activate us, right? So the PNAS, you got to look up this news study, right? The PNAS news study. It shows that we like bad news. It shows that the human conscience loves bad news. What it shows is the PNAS is the Proceedings of Proceedings of the Nation Academy of Science, and it found that humans around the world are more activated by negative news coverage. It found that humans around the world are more activated by negative news coverage, right? So people inhabited higher variability in their heart rate and greater skin conductancy, which means their hair stood up, while they were watching negative news articles versus positive news articles. So we all know this, but this is like an unspoken truth. We are more activated as a people by negative news articles than positive news articles. These are things we need to address in our subconscious mind, which is something that we spoke about in the last video, right? So reactions to news, to video news, right, content revealed that humans have a tendency to be aroused. We have a tendency to be aroused and even attentive, paying more attention to negative news, right? All right, so let's hop over to social media. Social media shows that almost half of us are influenced by social media on the daily, right? So think about this, 46% of daily active users are influenced every day by social media. 46% of daily users are influenced by social media, while 29% are affected throughout the rest of the day. So 46 and 29, that's 75% of us. That's 75% of us. 75% of us are affected by social media on a daily basis. All right, so the next thing I wanted to say is most affected by social media is millennials and Gen X. So our generations and our parents are affected. Now we're about to talk about the music industry, which is the last point I also wanted to make. So sounds, influence, matter. Sounds, influence, matter. The cells and the molecular structure of the human body. Sounds, influence, matter. Cells and molecular structure of the human body. And cymatics demonstrates this vividly, right? Google cymatics, C-Y-M-A-T-I-C-S. Somebody put that in the comment section. C-Y-M-A-T-I-C-S. S-M-A-T-I-C-S, somatics, right? That's the study of visible sound and vibrations, right? So the Bible also tells us that before Satan fell, he was always been highly involved with music since the beginning of heaven, right? So he once led a heavenly choir. This suggests that his intelligence in worldly music is supernatural, is powerful. So demonic possession in the music industry takes place in two main avenues: beats and spirit callings, and also altered state of conscience. Beats and spirit callings, and also altered state of conscience, right? So now we're about to jump over to agenda-driven content. Right? So, agenda-driven content. That in my mind takes form against in three main ways. I'm gonna stick with the threes because it's good to really talk to people in forms of threes so you can stick with it. So we'll talk about war, we'll talk about social movements, and we'll talk about political agenda. War, social movement, and political agenda. So the Federal Reserve and let's talk about war. The Federal Reserve and privately owned the Federal Reserve and central banking systems, they're privately owned by powerful families, right? Like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. But the thing about the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers is they're not the most powerful family at all, right? When you oppose these type of banking systems as a nation, they take your nation from you. The media labels you a dictator or weapons of mass destruction. They go in, they take your country from you, and they oppose central banking, right? War is over money and control. Then you look at social movements. If you don't know this guy's name, you need to look him up. His name is George Soros. A lot of people know that name, George Soros. And if you see any articles telling you George Soros is not investing in social movements, they're lying to you. And you probably should back out of that media article, right? So the mainstream media describes him as an investor with a $25 billion net worth. He's known to manipulate the financial market by using crisis. Think about what's going on with the George Floyd situation. I know they like mad loud, but like think about what's going on with the George Floyd situation. That is crisis. Think about COVID. That is crisis. The financial market is taking a hit, my friends. And I know you guys know this, but the financial market is taking a hit, right? So again, this guy is known, and again, you can Google him. He's known to manipulate the financial market by using crisis to increase wealth and power. He's known to fund LGBTQ. He's known to fund Black Lives Matter, Antifa, all these different programs, right? All these different political movements. Social movements. And more social movements to push an agenda to destabilize the country. He'll use skin color, religion, political wing, gender, more. And you have to remember that a divided people are easier to rule. And the united people are not. So if a divided people are easier to rule, we'll hop over into the last point when it comes to agenda-driven content used to control the mind of the masses. And that'll be through the form of political agenda, right? So left and right wing politics, rather. I'm sorry, I can't even read my own notes. Left and right wing politics are two wings of the same oppressive bird. Left and right wing politics are two wings of the same oppressive bird. And we have to remember that. Because as soon as you start blaming everything on the Republicans, you literally doing what the media is pushing content to tell you to do. Because the Democrats have definitely passed a lot of crime bills to oppress our people and take us out of the community, in which from that point we can't repopulate, in which from that point we can't raise our children, and we leave them up to be controlled. So how are people controlled today? All right, we got one more slide after this and that's it. How are people controlled today? People are controlled today through predictive programming and censorship. People are controlled today through predictive programming and censorship, right? So the mainstream media is the number one enemy of the people. If you can't tell by now, They use all this this spreading of disinformation to control us. And the reason why I can say that with facts is if you look up the disclosed Operation Mockingbird, it'll prove what I'm saying. The CIA set up Operation Mockingbird in the 1950s to manipulate news media for propaganda. They determined what was going to be on TV and then the news. And if you don't believe me, then all you have to do is ask former CIA director from 1981, William Casey. That's all you have to do. Only 4 companies control majority of the media. It's a bad idea to film at the pool, but they locked the inside of the building, and I can't get in there quick enough after working my job to actually pay me. But again, it's like only 4 companies control the media, right? And when you're giving people the illusion of choice, they believe they're free. When you're giving people the illusion of choice, they believe they're free, right? So censorship, if you believe in democracy, censorship is a threat to democracy. It controls opposition. It is controlled opposition, rather. And it is controlled oppression. And it proves that Operation Mockingbird never ended, right? And the deep state and the mainstream media are deciding what they want us to think and what they want us to believe. Again, censorship is a threat to democracy. It is controlled opposition. It is controlled oppression. And it proves that Operation Mockingbird never ended. The deep state and the mainstream media are deciding what they want us to think and believe. And we have to be aware of that. We talked about the mind, and if you weren't able to catch last live stream, then you gotta go catch it. Like, you just gotta go catch it. On that last live stream, I emphatically broke down the mind and how the mind works, how repetition works, refractory period. I spoke about us all having a refractory period to the George Floyd situation, right? And if they want to invade a country, all they have to do is simply tell us that the people of that country need to be free, right? Or that its ruler is a dictator who's trying to kill his people. But really, it's usually about resources and central banking, right? So finally, we'll close with this: distractions and lies, right? COVID-19, the situation, I mean, even though it's real, it's definitely a distraction from changes that are taking place. It's definitely a distraction from different things that are going on, right? Civil unrest, staged acts and planned out attacks of terrorism, right? Political propaganda. They're all distractions, and they're used to divide us while we're being controlled. In this country, it's being sold out further, because it's already being ran, but sold out further to the deep state. And finally, we got to think about the lies. We have been lied to on a scale that's not imaginable right now, and it's going to take time for this to hit and for you to really feel the effects of being lied to for so long. It's going to take time for people like me to really resonate with you, and for you to really see things in the media that shows you that what I'm saying is very real. It's going to take time for that to resonate. But that's all right, because right now we'll continue to wake each other up, right? So right now we're living through historical times, right? 2019 just marked the end of slavery. All those evil spells are broken. We really have to wake up. We have to be mindful of what we speak. We have to be careful what we speak, right? So the next topic I'm going to talk about on this channel is the untold truth of black people. The untold truth of black people is the next topic that I'm going to talk about on this channel. And then after that, I'm going to talk further about the deep state for those who don't understand what I'm talking about. Or I might just group those together like I did this one. So I hope you guys enjoy. I like to end on positive notes. What can you do? I know I'm talking about a lot of negative things, but what can we do? Well, what we can do is we can be patient. We can get prepared. And we can wake up as many people as we can. We also can remember that our words are powerful. and we definitely need to use our words to create. If the Bible said, "Let there be light," and then there was light, then we need to create a reality of existence that does not have these evil people that have found ways to control our mind, controlling them. And I guess I'll say this: after what I'm talking about, it's about to get way wilder. After I explain the untold truth of black people, and after I explain who the deep state is, I'm about to explain to you what heart is. I'm about to explain to you what Project Bluebeam is. When they gonna make you think that you literally saw Jesus Christ come down from heaven. When they gonna use 5G technology to be able, all right, so we at the point in civilization, in human evolution, to where we can talk to computers and we can make a computer do a lot of actions just by picking up on brain waves and brain frequencies. Well, what is 5G? It's a radio wave. So if we can send a command, we can receive one. All this programming through media, that's old. That's iPhone 5. These folks coming out with new technology every way to keep us controlled. Why? Why? Because you feel like they have all the money? No. It's not about the money. It's about the mind. They have every resource that they need. It's about controlling people now. It's not about controlling money anymore. Why do you think they are just printing money and giving it to you? Because the money don't matter no more. It's not about the money. It's about control. Having you stand 6 feet, having all these different things. I ain't even gonna talk about that because I'm not trying to get my live flag. I'm gonna set it up and I'm gonna talk to you about it properly. But I gotta get you to understand about your mind. If you haven't seen that live, again, go back and watch it. Now we talking about the media and what they doing to your mind. We finna keep talking about some deep stuff, and I just want you guys to be prepared, but I also want you guys to know what's going on. So this is what's going on. Again, be patient, be prepared, get prepared, wake up as many people as you can. Another thing that has been said that is coming is power grid collapse, right? So if the media is using predictive programming to keep telling you about the power grid collapse, you guys need to be storing up on food, need to be storing up on generators, things like that. Because if a power grid collapse, that means you can't talk to nobody. Nothing will be able to charge. Your car won't be able to run. These are things that are said to come like late November next year. Not November next year, but this November till next year. So it's a lot of different things that are working on us right now. And the best thing we can do is be educated, be prepared, and continue to wake each other up. So I just want to let you guys know, yo, I love you guys, man. I love you guys. I hope you were able to share this live. I hope you were able to take something away from this live. If you got a notebook and you took notes, yo, that's awesome. But again, I just want to make sure that you guys are healthy and well and not being ran. I want to make sure that you're running your subconscious and your conscious mind, and it's in full control of what's going on, and it's prepared for what's happening next. So with that being said, I'm gonna say it again: prepare for what's happening next. All right, prepare for what's happening next. And the only way you can be prepared for what's happening next is to understand what is happening in the media. Am I saying don't listen to the media? No, I'm not saying don't listen to all media. One, some media is good. Two, if you control your mind consciously and subconsciously, you able to see the next play through the media, because history continuously repeats itself. They want us to destroy this country. They want us to break this country down. They want to enact martial law. Once martial law is enacted, they're able to push New World Order. If you don't believe New World Order exists, look on the United Nations page, and they even have a section where they talk about New World Order. If America is broken down, if it goes down to that stage, then guess what? The UN troops are going to come in. That's in their operations. That's what they do to every other country. That's under their agreement. So we have to be careful. We have to not be pawns of the media, and we have to be prepared for what's happening next, and we have to pay attention what's going on in the media, so we are in full control of our minds. So I really didn't I really didn't form a closing, so I'll just end it there. But again, I love you guys, man, and I'm not doing this because I feel like this is something I want to scheme from. I'm doing this because I feel like this is my responsibility. I love music. I wanna work on music. I know you probably thinking, Darby, you just said like the music industry is bad. I want to create my own music. I want to have my own vibe. Continue to do that. I have that already. I like art, but I'm talking to you guys about this. And after I'm done talking about the media in this short series, because this is not gonna be like something I'm gonna continue to do forever. This is gonna be a short and limited series. But after I'm done talking about this, I'm gonna talk about prep and survival skills and different things like that. Just like an again short series, it'll probably be like 2-3 videos on that one, and then from there, I'm gonna go dark on all these topics, and y'all gonna have to take away what you wanted to take away, or not, or think I'm crazy, or whatever. But I promise you, if I was to tell you that everybody will be walking around with masks, and that you will be under quarantine, and 6 feet will be a rule, you would think I was crazy. You would think something was wrong with me if I was to tell you last year that in 2020 the country would almost be at civil war and you would be walking around under quarantine with masks on. You'd think I'm crazy. And we used to watch the shows, and the shows used to get, hey, what's up, dog? We used to watch. I'm sorry, you threw me off, man. You threw me off, bro. We used to watch the prepper shows and think those people were crazy, but you know, right now they don't look so crazy. So stop looking at everybody as crazy, man, because maybe that's what the media wants you to believe too. But all right, I'm gonna be a man of my word, and that's really gonna be me getting out of here. Thank you guys for rocking with me. I hope you took something away from it, and have a blessed night. All right.